Hello, Kehilat Darchei Tzion. It's Erev Shabbat, Parashat Kedoshim, and we read in our parasha about many mitzvot. One of the psukim that describes two mitzvot halachically, but according to some of the commentators, it's really talking about one. Is the pasuk lo telech rachil be'amecha lo ta'amod al dam re'echa ani Hashem. You shouldn't spread gossip around your nation, and you shouldn't stand on your friend's blood. I am Hashem. What's the relationship between the both parts of the pasuk? Those two prohibitions, lo telech rachil be'amecha, and on the other hand, lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. And lo telech rachil be'amecha, don't spread gossip. According to some of the commentators, the reason for it is because of lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. Spreading gossip, you're causing terrible relationships between people. I'll say even more, you're causing a terrible atmosphere within the nation, between the people around you, between your surroundings, between society, and it reaches the whole nation, and it has a terrible, people have bad relationships, people don't trust each other, and that in the end leads to murder, that leads to death. Lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. We're still in the middle of the war, but still, it's from the beginning, people have this feeling that there's a deep connection between the kind of a relationship that Am Yisrael had, that we had within each other before the war, and the terrible tragedies that happened afterwards. You can connect it one way or the other, but yes, there's a deep feeling that we can actually understand how severe lo telech rachil be'amecha can turn into lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. On the other hand, there are commentators who understand the exact opposite. Lo telech rachil be'amecha, but make sure shelo ta'amod al dam re'echa. Lo telech rachil be'amecha is very important. Don't spread gossip. But sometimes to tell someone, to throw him a word about to tell him something about what someone else is thinking about them, someone else is planning to harm them, you're saving the other person from suffering, from death even. Make sure that you're not being a tzaddik in the place where you're not supposed to. Lo telech rachil be'amecha, but make sure shelo ta'amod al dam re'echa, that because you're quiet, someone else isn't going to be harmed. Make sure that when you know the time, spread the word, because that can defend an individual, that can guard society. You have to make sure. It's very difficult to know when is the correct time for each interpretation. When do we say lo telech rachil be'amecha? Because if you do, you are going to cause a big tragedy in your country, around you. Lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. And when is it the time for the opposite? It's the time to spread the word, because spreading the word is what will defend people. And this tension between these two interpretations, I think, is something that many of us live with on social media, on the news. When is it correct to talk, to spread the word, to make sure that people know exactly what's going on? And when is it better to keep silent and not to spread the word? We have to do our best to make sure that we guard our mouth and that we guard our hearts. The intention here is very important, to make sure that we have the correct intention when we are silent and when we speak up. And that's why the pasuk ends maybe with the words Ani Hashem. Hashem is the one who knows our intentions, and Hashem can maybe give us siyata dishmaya to make sure that we know when is the time, the correct time to keep silent, and when is the correct time to spread the word. The major issue is to have a society in which the theme of lo ta'amod al dam re'echa, to care for each other, to be there for one another, that's the important part. Shabbat Shalom.